day one of week 2 of Melfest 2018. Today we saw 7 rehearsals, and now it's time to preview this. Are you guys ready?
Let's do this!
So first off this morning, it was Samir and Viktor with Shuffla. And it was kind of more, it was like what we'd expect from Samir and Viktor. It was upbeat, it was fun, it was highly choreographed. They started off kind of differently in that we saw them in a black and white setting on the LED screen, and they were kind of transported to the 1920s. And there was kind of nearly Charleston style music, and then they walked up from the piano, and then they were back in modern times. They were doing all their choreography. They did the Shuffla, which was quite complicated because I thought it was going to be something simple like what Beret did back for Spain in 2016.
No.
And then, but like Beret, they did have a little moment. She pretended to fall. Viktor pretended to be all out of breath when he was on the catwalk at one point, and then it wasn't just Beret they were borrowing from. They also had their very own epic sax guy. But he wasn't quite up to the Moldovan standards. But the staging was very strong. The holograms, or not the holograms, the background projections, they filled them up with dancers. Occasionally it was Samir and Viktor. So it looked like there was a lot more people on stage than there was in reality.
I think if we ignore their epic staging, it's from the 3 entries they had, it's probably the best song they had from the 3, from Groupie and Badanakna, and now this one. Shuffla is the best one. The staging, I think it fits the song, it fits them as a group, as Samir and Viktor. Everyone knows them for what they did on stage. And yeah, they delivered 100% what they promised, and I think they did their part. And I think, well, for predictions, we'll wait.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see this rehearsal because Swedish train SJ, you suck. But hearing the clip on it, definitely, I do think it's the strongest of their songs, even from the recorded studio clip. They have definitely improved vastly since Groupie. I can hear a lot more singing on there, so I'm actually excited to kind of see it. But they've been working hard. That's it. They know that, they want to make music. They want to do this as a living, and you can totally tell, even from the studio clip, they have vastly improved. So I'm actually excited to see it.
It's good. It's really good.
But Viktor out of breath, really? With a bod like that? Come on, Viktor. We know you're joking.
Then, from the madness of Badanakna, we went to kind of a Shuffla. Forgive me. We went to the quirkiness of Ida Redig with her song Allting som vissa. Forgive me if my pronunciation is a mess.
That's everything that we've said. English version.
And yeah, so we had the weird madness of Samir and Viktor. Then Ida kind of brought her own quirky style to the show. She had a backdrop. It was made entirely out of CDs, and her costume then was kind of a military style outfit. It was very sparkly and silver, but it was like what the guards wear outside Buckingham Palace, except it was silver. And then her backing band had a black outfit with silver things on it, silver flourishes. And then the song itself was it started off kind of like a ballad, and then she kind of broke into a rockier number, and she got really behind it. If you're familiar with her work, it sounds like a natural progression, but I don't know, it's not quite a showstopper.
Yeah, after Samir and Viktor that bring the party, this is definitely a step back into a more calm and more centered on the song performance more than the party. I think it's online with her previous work, maybe a bit more up-tempo than what she usually does. You could see she was comfortable. I don't think the song is a standout from the day, and yeah, that's mainly it. I don't have anything bad to say about the session because he's really good in Sweden.
Yeah.
But yeah, always brings good production.
Well, I mean, I didn't see this one, but hearing the clip from it, I don't know if this would do well in the Melodifestivalen crowd, especially with it being placed second after Samir and Viktor. It is a good song, but perhaps it's not right for Melodifestivalen or the placement. Jon Lundvik broke the number 2 curse, first person to go direct since 2011. But that's because we got a real singer after someone that wasn't so much of a singer. This week we have, Melfest staples, Samir and Viktor's opening the show, and to have a song like this after that, I think will really detract from her. So that's my opinion on that.
And next up was a man who was very popular here with the local media because they had a press meet and greet at lunchtime, and the queue for him was crazy. And it's Jonas Gardell.
Yeah.
And his song is Det finns en väg. And I was kind of surprised because me, in my innocence, expected a joke act because he was here in 2016 as interval entertainment, and he was doing his Schlager school, and he was kind of mocking the genre to a certain extent. But this is a very serious entry, but it's very stagey, it's very musical theatre. He's the centre of attention, even though he's surrounded by about 7 other backing singers, but they're kind of in the shadows for most of it. It's very dramatic. There's a big, massive key change. I don't understand what's going on, so I don't know how the Swedes will react to it, but I'm very surprised. It's much better and stronger entry than I thought before today.
I think this could contend for a place in the top 4 songs because of how powerful it is. I don't understand the lyrics until Kevin arrived here and told me how depressing the lyrics were. I thought this was a power ballad with very uplifting meaning of lyrics and stuff like that, and then he told me that the song was very depressing. But yeah, it's a typical ballad in crescendo with a huge key change, and he delivers it, and the backing vocals help a lot, and I think the song grows because of that. And yeah, with an arena packed, maybe it will work, maybe it will not work. If the crowd gets behind him, it could be a huge number. Yeah.
Jonas Gardell is very famous here in Sweden, as you said, by the media. He is a known stand-up comic. He's a writer. And to take this turn is, when I saw the lyrics, I was like, not what I was expecting. Jonas Gardell definitely is the name to attract new Melfest viewers, as Edward Bloom was last week. So I think he's in this because he does have a big name, he does have a lot of interest, and he will be the reason why a lot of Swedes who maybe traditionally don't watch Melodifestivalen or don't watch till the finals will watch this week. With that said, the lyrics are quite sad. To sum it all up, I think Cher's song Lonely does it. It's a song for the lonely. Can you hear me tonight? Again, hearing the clip, I can see the dramaticness in it, and it is a very powerful message, but we also know that sometimes stronger messages about non-love and not peace don't do so well, Loreen. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. He's a very smart guy. It's a very, it sounds like a very dramatic song, but again, very heavy lyrics.
And after that, what would you call it, kind of misery fest, we went to Margaret's wonderful, bright Cabana. And I don't know, as a Eurovision fan, I kind of feel a certain amount of ownership to Margaret. It's kind of like she's ours and we've lent her to Sweden for Melfest. But I thought she delivered. Her song isn't quite as instant as Cool Me Down was back in 2016, but given everything that was going on, her vocals were acceptable, I thought, because she's gotten a lot of flack in the past, and often it's unfair criticism. But the song is catchy, and it's like a natural progression without being a copy of Cool Me Down. And the staging is it's more weird staging. We've seen a fair bit of weird staging today, but she starts off backstage, and they were kind of hyping up that there's this single camera shot that's focused on her for the whole time. If you weren't told about it, you wouldn't really notice it. Like, it's not something that jumps out, and it's not super
very naturally.
Yeah, but she has it, and then she's filled the stage with kind of a few quirky elements. A bit like Victoria for the last 2 years, branding is very strong. Margaret is emblazoned across the backdrop. And then there's probably the weirdest moment of the day was she sits down on the throne, and the throne is a silver toilet. And it's in front of a backdrop of a really grotty, icky, disgusting bathroom. But yes, Margaret is back with a bang.
I think the staging helps the song a lot. a lot, really. And everything is happening on stage. You see like a LED with a cabana, and then you see the LED with the toilet, and then she doesn't use the main stage a lot, so you don't see a lot of the main stage. She goes into, you have on the stage those huge cubes, and she uses them a lot in her performance as well. She doesn't faces the audience as much as other acts do, and I think she's very focused on getting that 2-minute camera shot right. She's facing the camera and the voters at home. The song, for me, it's not better than Cool Me Down. Vocally, she sounds better than in the Polish national final, but we have to take in consideration that in the Polish national final, you don't have pre-recorded backing vocals, and here you do. And clearly that helps her a lot in terms of stability, voice stability. It's not there for me. But it's not bad. Let's see.
Again, I'm going by the clip that I heard, and definitely it is a big change from Cool Me Down, but I think that's good because we shouldn't get a Cool Me Down part 2. So I really do like the clip. I do see it being a summer stream song, and you mentioned with the staging, I've seen the pictures, that you have a 2-minute clear shot of Margaret, which you don't really notice, but again, it's branding. Margaret wants to be known here in the Swedish market. Margaret wants her face to be seen. I really do believe her that she doesn't want to represent Sweden at Eurovision, but she just wants to really have a new market to be known for and to perform in front of. When it comes to the quirky staging, I think it goes along with her music videos. She has a very image-heavy kind of a style, and I think the thing with national elimination in Poland when she entered was they don't have the same budget that Melodifestivalen has, so Cool Me Down didn't have that extra set pieces. But Margaret, if you see her videos, she's known for that imagery. So I think even the silver toilet, everything is that quirkiness that is Margaret, which is brilliant. Again, I think this is there to show her face, to be known in the Swedish public, and hopefully she'll achieve that.
And I think this is her show. This is the stage she should be on, because of the branding and the way she conveys her messages in music videos and stuff. This is the stage to be, because there is a budget. You can do basically whatever you like, and producers will allow you to do it. And in Poland, you can't do that. So she's on the right place. Yeah.
Next up, from kind of Margaret's excess, was the simplicity of Stiko Per Larsson with Titta, flyger.
Oh, I have to see the name of the song. Titta, flyger.
There you go. And it was a very simple performance, because if it wasn't for the backdrop behind him, you would almost think that he was just at a music festival in the summertime. Because the staging, it was just like the band was there, they were doing the gig. The backdrop then was it was nice and cute. It was sort of like an old school effect of kind of cartoons moving up and down behind him, and we saw a hot air balloon, we saw clouds, we saw flowers, we saw sun. There was a lot of little things, and the song itself, it was surprisingly upbeat and poppy, yet it still kept true to his indie rock roots.
This is my guilty pleasure of the semi-final. I think this can really be fighting for a place, at least in Chansen. I'm not even saying final, but I think it gains on its simplicity. After huge pop productions with stagings, elevated, everything is incredible. You just have a nice guy with a guitar in the center of the stage, with a cute background that doesn't hurt anyone, but it's not spectacular. And he's just singing, and he's singing a good song with a good vibe, influences of indie rock, as you said. He also has a little bit of country, but it has a distinct pop production that, it's from Sweden. And I think it can gain votes from a lot of people with a lot of genres. Yeah.
This one I got to see. The thing about someone coming from the P4 contest is that since the winner from 2012, and sometimes it's actually not the winner, has been getting a spot at Melodifestivalen, none of them have actually qualified, not even a second chance. It is a great opportunity, a great platform for new or unknown songwriters to enter this contest to get a spot at Melodifestivalen, but traditionally these songs don't do well. With that said, this is actually probably my favorite that has come from the P4 contest. So hopefully it gets a bit more traction. With that said, it's also interesting to see that it comes after Margaret. I hate to say this, but there are going to be people out there, as they were last week, that are probably not so happy that someone that's not Swedish is performing in Melodifestivalen. So to have someone coming up with Swedish lyrics and a fun Swedish song, it might help him. So that's also something that we need to consider vote-wise.
And now we come to our penultimate song, and it's a familiar face yet again, and Mimi Werner with Songburning. A lot of you probably remember her from 2016. She came very close to qualifying out of her semi-final then. She came 5th. And once again, she's back with country, but it's a much it's not nearly as frantic and giddy as her last performance, because it's effectively a kind of up-tempo country ballad. But don't mistake it, don't think country, Kiki Danielson, Charlotte Perrelli, it's nothing like that. It's a proper country bop, if you want a better word. Then the staging, it's quite bright and vibrant. There's kind of a constant explosion of orange in the background. Then at one point she heads down the catwalk and she's joined by 4 drummers and they do some choreography with that. And then Songburning comes up in the background and Songburning burns. And then there's a big, massive pyro shower. So they've kind of gone all out, and it's definitely a more polished entry from her compared to last time.
I think from her last song, Ain't No Good.
Ain't no good.
I thought that song should have qualified in the year and in the that she was in. Having said that, I think Songburning is even better. I think the song is more produced. It's not overproduced. It's well produced. It still captures the essence we know of Mimi Werner from Ain't No Good. And I think the pyro curtain. I'm a sucker for pyro curtain, sorry. I really like it. I think this is another song that may fight for one of the 4 places. Yeah.
Again, this is a better song than Ain't No Good, 100%. And Ain't No Good, I love the studio version, but the live version, there was just something about her range when she was doing it live that, I love the song, but I understood why it happened the way it did there. But this year, she found the perfect song. It sounds great live. It works with her vocal range. So this is basically 2 great things coming together. It's an amazing song. The drummers are great to remind you that there is a beat to this. It's not your traditional guitar country song. And that firewall, it's actually not in the back as you normally see it. It's actually in the front, which is quite cool. And I'm just standing there going, oh girl, don't pull a Michael Jackson and get your hair burned. So it's really cool. It's a nice effect. I'm hoping she doesn't go get set on fire, but...
or she finishes 5th again.
No. Oh, it's definitely not happening this year because this is... I think it's the strongest song, I would say, maybe in the seat. But we'll get to that in a bit.
Yes, and then last but by no means least was LIAMOO with Last Breath. And it was definitely, out of all the stage shows, they went all out on this one today. It's not quite up there with Benjamin and Grosso's staging from last week, but it's not far behind. There's lots of very sharp camera cuts. It kind of reminded me of Oscar Zia's performance with Human in 2016. There's lots of different lights. He's kind of bathed in red light at one point, then there's green, purples. There's lots of smoke. And then Sasha Jean-Baptiste designed his staging, and she has these kind of, I'd say nearly trademark at this stage, where she uses little effects on the screen. So there's smoke. They were playing around with the smoke on screen because by the last cut,
They took it away.
Yeah, they seemed to take it away. But then there
Or
was...
at least it faded on screen, yeah.
There was little glitches added to make it look like the live feed was breaking up when obviously it wasn't in reality. The song itself is quite strong as well. It's got a 90s feel. It's kind of a mixture of kind of an R&B pop ballad with a bit of rap thrown in. And he's a very charismatic performer. He's handsome, which won't do him any harm. And yeah, it was definitely a strong show closer.
I was expecting a little bit more of the song, to be honest. I really need to be honest, and I was expecting LIAMOO because we've been hyping, and people in general in Sweden especially have been hyping LIAMOO for so long that I was expecting maybe there's a Eurovision winning song coming from this semi-final of Melfest. I don't think this Last Breath is a Eurovision winning song. Having said that, I think it's extremely charismatic. I think Sacha Jean-Baptiste's staging is on point as usual. But in this case, I don't think the effects she uses on screen match the message of the song, and I think the staging is a bit disconnected with the song itself. It's really pretty, it's arresting visually, but I don't think there's a connection between both, and I think it might not win Melfest because of that.
I think with LIAMOO, as you said, there's a lot of hype. He's the bookie's favorite to win Melodifestivalen, and of course this was before we heard all the songs. With the performance itself, as everyone stated, lots of lights, lots of different angles. So basically what that tells us is that LIAMOO is LIAMOOlicious. In any angle, with any color, guy is gorgeous, which doesn't hurt him at all. I really like the staging, I really like the aggressive look, and just like Benjamin and Grosso, it's going for that music video quality where you watch it and you go, this could be the music video. So I was quite impressed with that, the lighting, and I think everything kind of worked. It doesn't really, of course, connect directly with the lyrics, but I like it is a hip-hop kind of a thing too, so to have this really flashy staging around it to heighten that, and it does really throw back to this 90s hip-hop where you have this strong message, and it sounds almost autobiographical for LIAMOO to kind of talk about how he used to be and how he's changed and stuff like that, and have a singing chorus line. So the interesting thing about LIAMOO is that he'll probably look back at this, because the thing you can do with rap that you can't do so much with the singing part is that you can add an extra energy to it. You can take it up, because right now he's quite low, and when we listened to this, we were actually getting a lot of bass in our ears, so we couldn't clearly hear everything. But you can be like this, or you can be a bit more aggressive, and I think that the performance we see on Saturday night will be different than the performance we saw. He'll play around with it, and he'll do what's right, because one thing he's really good at is feeling the stage, whether it's on camera or for the audience, and adjusting accordingly. So I definitely think we'll see a different type of performance on that Saturday night stage.
Now, we realize the video is getting quite long, so we're going to be quick, and we've two more things left to do. Firstly, our favorites. So who are our favorites to go to the final and our favorites to go to Andershansen? So I'll start first. I am saying LIAMOO and Mimi for the final, Margaret and Samir and Viktor for Andershansen.
I am saying Samir and Viktor for the final. This is a difficult one. I'm going to throw in LIAMOO as well for the final, but I think he's borderline qualified with Mimi Werner. And I think she's going to Andershansen, but in my top, I think she would probably be on the final. And I'm going to say Stiko Per Larsson as a chance of advancing through Andershansen, and I think Margaret will get the dreadful 5th place. And I love the song, and her.
So that's your favorites?
Yeah. No, these ones are the ones that I think will qualify.
Bernardo's ruining her order, but anyway.
So my personal favorites are LIAMOO and Mimi Werner, and for second chance would be Samir and Viktor and Margaret. Again, Samir and Viktor and Margaret are based off the 1-minute clip and not seeing the actual staging itself.
And if you had to give your prediction?
I would say Samir and Viktor to the finals, and Mimi Werner or LIAMOO as a second, and then Andershansen would be LIAMOO or Mimi Werner, and Margaret or potentially Jonas Gardell.
I'm going to have to be a copycat and nearly say exactly what you're saying, because I think my 4 favorites are who I'd like to see. But Jonas Gardell is kind of the surprise package, especially for foreign viewers. Like, it's hard to kind of grasp how big he is here. And then I think LIAMOO is nearly my only definite prediction for the direct to the final. Everyone else, I think, is kind of on the fence of Andershansen between Mimi, Margaret, Samir and Viktor, and Jonas. And then I think the other 3, sadly, aren't in contention, but I could be proven wrong. Or the other 2, sorry, Ida and Stiko. But do you have any?
Now is my prediction or my favorites? No, it's the prediction, right?
Okay. Are we done?
I think we are done.
Okay.
We'll see Saturday.
And we have more interviews coming up in the next few hours and more tomorrow. So if you want to see all of them, make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bar.
Like or dislike the video if you don't like it, but like it, please.
Comment #LiaMoolicious on the video if you think it's hot.
Okay, so we'll let you go for now. Until tomorrow. Bye.